Hello and welcome to my stamp studio. Today is our fractured fun card. I'm just trying to get my feed set up here so I can see what's all going on. Here we go. All right. Make sure. All right. Turn off the volume. So welcome to Hump Day Lunch Break Live. Hope you have something yummy for today. Hello, Barbara. How are you? And I just got one more place to go here so I can see all your comments. Say hi. Let me know where you're joining us from and what you're having for lunch today. I actually grilled out mushroom Swiss burgers on our grill last night. So that is going to be my lunch. And some fresh fruit. So looking for something a little healthy today. Not quite so healthy since it's a burger, but you know, it'll be there. Okay, let's see. One more thing. Let's see. Can I see that video? There it is. Okay. Hi, Judy. Welcome. Nice to see you. And let's go here. I've got one more place to click and I'll almost be there. So I have everything like in front of me so I can't really see my computer screen. So sometimes I'm like dodging the camera here to see everything. Let me go ahead and pull this out of the way. So today, as always, on Wednesday at a little bit afternoon, I bring a quick and easy card for you to make. So today, this looks like a really challenging card, right? But it's not. It's super easy. So a couple weeks back, I had done a very similar one on our birthday card class. It was the our series week 1, and I did it with the little monkeys. So that one was a little bit more, it was really a little bit more because we're popping up things with foam adhesive strips and doing all this stuff. But today I really wanted to show you a quick and easy way that you can make this card. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. And let's see. All right. Okay. So here we go. And wow. I tell you what, my computer is running really slow today, so hopefully we're not going to have any issues. It's kind of stormy here, so yeah. All right, so I have a piece of Night of Navy cardstock. It's 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. So I'm just going to get out my bone folder here and give it a nice press. All right, if you ever have a challenge where you can't get a nice flat impression, it could be because maybe your surface on your table is not stiff enough. So grab a piece of cardboard and just give it a press, all right? That really flattens it down. Otherwise, you can just take it between, I usually take a couple of card bases and just squish it between my fingers. And that way it tends to lay flat. All right, I have a piece of basic white. This is 4 by 5 1/4. This will be for the inside of our card. I have another piece of designer series paper. This is 4 by 5 1/4. I'm not going to attach it to my card base yet because I need to do some work on here first. I have 4 strips of this soft shimmer paper. Now this soft shimmer paper comes in a variety of colors. I think I have some other ones handy here. Let's see. So you've got a pink and a berry, and you've got the navy and peacock and Lost Lagoon. So a variety of colors. It is comes 12 by 12, and yeah, very pretty, very fun to use. So what I've done is I've taken 1/4-inch strips. So that is a 6 by 6 that I had there. So I just taken some 1/4-inch strips, and we'll be using those. I have a piece of crushed curry, which measures 1 3/4 by 1 3/4. And then I used our stylish shapes here to cut out a rectangle. And that rectangle here is our rectangle, square. I failed geometry. The square is about, it's just under 2 inches. So if you have a 2-inch by 2-inch piece of basic white, you're all good. You can use another color too, but I chose white. So the first thing I am going to do is I'm going to adhere those 2 pieces together. I'm just going to grab my liquid glue for this project. And we'll get this adhered on. Oh, I do have a scrap of basic white for my silly goose that we'll be using. So, and as all you can all probably hear, Cooper's in the background. He's joining us today. I don't know what toy he's playing with, but he's got one. Who knows with him? He goes down to his little toy bin and grabs a toy every time I'm live. So some days we end up with like, I don't know, 40 toys up here. It's some ridiculous amount on occasion. Yeah, he's just a goofball. So I'm just getting a piece of scrap here so I can cut out my Goose. But first things first, we're going to go ahead and I am going to go ahead and adhere this down. Now I'm kind of centering it on my cards, my designer series paper here. So I'm just adding a little bit of liquid glue. Liquid glue gives me that little bit of wiggle room I may need if I need to move it off to one side or another. And I'm just eyeballing this. I'm not measuring it. I'm not being so particular or perfection about it. I'm just putting it down. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of my strips of my shimmer paper here, and I am just going to line it up on the edge of that square. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere that down. So what I like to do is I actually, to make sure I get my adhesive far enough, so I don't want to, I always end up putting it too far and then I get it sticky and it goes all over the place. What I like to do is I like to just set it right next to where I want to go, and I'm just really going to draw a thin line kind of right here because I know that's about where it's going to be. So this is going to hang over the edge a little bit, and that's okay because we'll use that other strip. All right. So I'm just going to make sure that lines up there. All right. And then before that dries, I'm going to take my next piece and make sure that it's going to finish. On occasion, I've had these little gaps there. I don't want to have that little gap there. I want it flush to my little square. All right. So I can leave that for now, or I can trim it. Totally up to you if you want to trim as you go or you want to trim at the end. So with this one, I am going to trim it now because I think I can use this next strip. I might be able to use this in another place. Nope, it'll be with another card. Okay. Next, I'm going to take my strip here, and I'm going to just keep turning my cardstock and going the same way. So I'm lining it up with my edge there and coming off the card. So again, I could put this right on here, and it doesn't matter if your strips are not perfectly all 1/4 inch. It's fine. I don't always cut straight, so sometimes mine are not exact. All right. If you feel the need to be exact, I can't help you out there. I'm sorry. Just can't do it. All right. We're going to turn it again. And this time, I'm turning it actually all the way around because I'm going to go on this side. So I'm just rotating it here. And again, putting this down right here. So that way I know about where my glue should go. I just found that this was easier for me as I was moving around, because that way I knew I wouldn't have so much excess glue all over the place. Okay, then I could use those strips for something else on a different card. And then our last piece, we're going to go from here to here. All right, so pretty easy. I like to kind of know how far I'm going to go, so let's go ahead and I've got too much off to the side here. It's kind of bugging me. Right. I just need to turn that a little bit so I can draw my glue line. Because believe it or not, I also don't draw very straight. That might be a little bit too much glue over there. Oh well. All right, so in that case, I'm going to just take my end here and kind of drag some of that glue along. Bump that right up to that edge. Give it a nice press. All right, so now you can see that we've got all this going on. So now we need to cut off those strips. And maybe I do need to zoom back out. There we go. Sorry if that was cut off. All right, so I'm just going to, easier sometimes to see, and you can choose whatever side of your designer series paper. Now this designer series paper was the Delightfully Eclectic. It has 48 sheets of 12 by 12 paper. It is awesome because it comes in such a variety of patterns. It's great to have around. Okay, so next thing I'll do is I can adhere this right to, we'll take this one out here, right to my card base. Now if you want to add another layer under there, you could. You could pop it up with dimensionals. I am just going to take my liquid glue. And I am just going to go around my corners here, a little bit in the middle, just a thin bead of it, and I'm going to place this right on the center of my card base. All right. So, and there's no rhyme or reason what direction that goes. Pick whatever floats your boat. All right. Now, we're going to grab out our stamp set here. And so we're using our Silly Goose. You can use any stamp set for this card. So this is a great technique. You can use anything, all right? You can even use ones that have dies. I'm going to go ahead and do my thanks here. So this is the one that we're going to be using. We'll be using a couple of the other ones inside, but right now I'm going to use this one for my outside. So let's go ahead and get that one stamped. And I'm going to be using my Knight of Navy. Now, I am going to also be using my blends, and normally I always tell you to use your black memento. It's okay if you're going to use a minor, ooh, that's got really inky, a minor amount of blends, and that stamped poorly. Oh, please, why? Restamp that. All right, that's much better. Now, where did my cleaner go? Here it is. Cooper, stop that. He is just being really weird today. I guess because it's going to be storming and he does not like storms. So he's being all sorts of goofy. Really hard to get him outside today. All right, so let's go ahead and clean this off. And I'm using my scrub here to do that with instead of my chamois. I like to use my scrub when I'm using my rubber stamps. All right. And now I'm going to go ahead and grab one of my sentiments for the inside of my card. I might as well do that right now while I have my ink and everything out. So we're going to do, I have thanks in the front, and we're going to sending a big honkin' thanks for our sentiment. Let's see. Oh, that's a gaggle of good wishes. We don't want that one. And let's see. This is it. No. Here we go. I can't read them backwards. Okay, sending a big honkin' thanks. So I'm going to share you something with that. I wasn't paying really good attention when I was mounting my stamps. I know, hard to believe, but I did not. And I ended up putting the wrong label on the wrong stamp. All right, so now I had to rip it off, and it ripped like the foam on there. So it's not all that great. So just saying, I'm going to stamp this down the bottom here, somewhere a little different, and it's crooked. Flip it over. There. Much better. So when you're putting your labels on, just be careful. Make sure you have the right label on the right stamp. If you're not sure what the stamp says, take some ink and stamp it. That way you know you'll have the right label. All right. So we've got that. Now, I just want to put a little goose inside here. So, you know what? We're going to stamp these right here. These dear guys. Now, I've been using this stamp set quite a bit, but I haven't even, like, put my labels on a bunch of these yet. Hence why I did it wrong the other day. All right. I'm going to take my bigger block here. I'm going to pull in a scrap piece of paper. Let's see, is this a scrap? Sure is. That's just an order I was placing. All right. And I'm going to ink this guy up. I'm going to stamp it off first because I want to see about where I want it. You know, I think I'm going to stamp it just a little ways off my cardstock because I don't want to go over my sentiment, but I do want it to have both of these on there. All right, so look how cute that is. Now I've let this sit for a little bit, so it's drying, and I'll take my time to clean my block here, my stamp. All right, let's see if I can get my, well, good grief. I am just not seeing my video, and I don't know why. So let me know if I'm still broadcasting, because I'm not seeing anything. I know Facebook has been goofy for several of us for a couple of days now. So I'm just going to make sure it's working well. All right. I'm going to bring back in these here. And let's see if I can see my feed now. Okay, I see my feed. And let's go ahead and expand that. Hello, Diane. Okay, hi, Ann. Thank you, Judy. Appreciate it. Okay. All right, let's get coloring here. So I did say I was going to be using blends. So I'm going to be using my daffodil blend. Now, I'm going in a small little area. I'm just doing their beaks, right? So as long as I'm not coloring over my ink, it shouldn't smear. So what I'm doing to make sure of that is I'm just dotting. I'm not really coloring back and forth. I'm just putting dots. So I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see the other one. All right, make sure I'm in frame here. Let's see. Ooh, I think maybe I zoomed in too much. Let's see. Nope, you should be able to see it. Okay, so I'm just taking my blend here and I'm just putting in dots. This way I'm not smearing my navy ink. All right. And then I do my legs down here. Same kind of way. I'm just dotting along. I just like to be careful because sometimes especially with the yellows, even I've noticed the Memento sometimes will smear a little bit. All right, so I found by dotting, I get a pattern in there. That's going to work. Okay, we're going to bring this one back in and go ahead and color the feet. I need to zoom out just a little bit. I want you to be able to see it, but I also want to be able to get the whole in there. Again, I'm just dotting. All right, so that's with that one. Now I'm going to come back in with my balmy blue, and I'm going to color in my banner here. So I am just going to take my brush end, and I am just going to gently pull my color in. I'm not going back and forth, so I'm really just going in one direction so that I don't smear that, because these are alcohol based and our inks are water based. So what would happen is if you really kind of brush too hard with that, you can spread your ink. So again, now I'm just coming back in and dabbing. Dab or go one direction. Doesn't matter. All right. So you can see that didn't really smear too much. It did a little, but very, very little. All right, so let's zoom back out. We're going to cut this guy out. Did I go the wrong way again? Excuse me. All right, we'll cut this one out. All right, so when I have a large piece of cardstock and a small area that I'm cutting out, I like to just kind of do that and make it much easier for myself so that when I go and cut, I can cut it. Now, you're just going to be careful. I'm just going to be a little quieter for the moment when you go around those little legs so you don't cut off his little legs. They're a little narrow. And then, again, I'm not trying to be exact. I'm just wiggling the paper so I get a little bit of a curve, a little bit, you know. There we go. So there's been so many cards that I've seen with this technique. A lot of them were using the little monkey stamp set, but I decided I wanted to try something a little different. And because I like this technique, I may just come up with a couple more cards over the weekend, some playtime. So what's going on this week? Paper Pumpkin, which would normally be tonight, is going to move to Sunday. I just got so much going on this weekend that I can't do it tonight. I just can't. So I'm going to be doing it Sunday at 7 p.m. So that's where we go through our Paper Pumpkin kit and we make our cards from the kit, and then we do some alternate designs. And right now I'm just grabbing some dimensionals here. So I'm going to put some dimensionals on the back of my duck. I want to grab my small, you can use your small, oops, your mini or your large ones, doesn't matter. I like to use a mini right on his head. And I also like to use a mini right down here. And then I'll take 3 of the large ones. Yep, I am using quite a few dimensionals. I do want him to be all popped up. I don't want him to be pressed down or squashed. All right, so now I've got that. I've got thanks right there. We're not done yet. Hang on. We're going to put our inside. And then we've got to put a little bit of bling on here. All right, so what's going on tomorrow night? Tomorrow night will be our next week in our birthday card series. So I'll be posting and emailing about that later this evening. There is a host code, so if you want to get the class kit sent to you for free, you place a $35 order in my store and you'll get that class kit. I am also looking now for my embellishments. Oops, I just dropped a stamp. Heavens, Betsy, don't drop the stamp. Oh, where did it go? All right. I'll worry about that later. I need my embellishments first because we need to finish our card. And, well, you know, it's never alive until I lose something, right? So, lost my embellishments. And I just had them out, like, not even an hour ago. Because I knew I was going to be using them. Alright. I put them in a safe place. You know Beth and her safe places. Oh, here they are. They just fell back. Alright. So I have the flat adhesive back pearls. As you can see, there's a little bit of iridescence in them. I'm going to go ahead and bring in my Night of Navy blend. And I'm just simply going to color them in. Now, it's not going to give it a whole lot of color. It'll still keep some of the iridescence to it. So I'm going to do 5. And it's nice and smooth, so I don't have to worry about my blend tip breaking down. All right, let's let those dry real quick. Fan them a little bit. Grab my Tick Pick tool here. And we'll just get my little putty end into a nice little wad. All right. And pick that up. And we'll just plop these randomly on the card. You could leave them white if you wanted. I just felt like, I felt like I wanted to have some color. All right. Okay. No rhyme or reason to where I placed them. I just placed them. All right. So that is today's Fractured Technique card. Hope you like that. I will be posting all the measurements and a list of the supplies that I used on my website. I'll also include it in the video description here on YouTube, and in Facebook, I'll be putting the list of supplies in my comments, as well as a link to my website. So if you want to download the tutorial for it, you'll be able to do that as well. All right. Have a good day. Hope to see you tomorrow night for our birthday card class series, and have a great day.